In this video, we're going to review ethos, logos, and pathos rhetorical arguments, and then we're going to work on finding these arguments in an article, and we're going to use these arguments to prove which article makes the strongest argument. So if we take a look at this article about should kids get paid to do chores, we've actually read this article already in class. In fact, we even wrote a paragraph on this argument a long time ago. So if you need to review this article, feel free to pause this video and read through it. So this is the yes side, and this is the no side. Okay, so the directions, the first thing we need to do is we need to find an ethos, logos, and pathos argument. And all we need is one of each, so it doesn't matter if you find this argument in both articles or just use one article, as long as you have one of each. So let's start with ethos. An ethos argument, remember that's blue, and what this is this an author shows credibility. And how they do that is they give information from someone else. So when I read through this article, I'm looking for something that the author uses that's not their own opinion. They're either quoting someone else or they're using information from somewhere else, and they're making sure that they show us that they did get the information from somewhere else. So the one that really stands out to me in this article is where this author uses Professor Roseman. Notice how this is successful because professors, they probably know how kids become successful as adults. So by quoting this, it shows that the author is adding credibility to the paper. Next thing we're going to look for is logos. Logos can be facts or information to prove something, but the easiest way to find logos is to look for numbers. So when I scan through this, I'm looking for numbers, and then when I find a number, I ask myself, is this number persuading someone to do something? And notice how it has that number, $10 a week. And that's persuading us that kids should get paid to do chores because they're doing all these things for a bargain. Notice how they even say bargain, for a bargain price of $10 a week. Last thing we're looking for is pathos. Pathos is the easiest one because this is what most people use to persuade people. Pathos is like a path to the heart. Pathos uses emotions. So when I look through this article, I'm looking for something that makes us as readers feel a certain way. Most of this article uses pathos, so there can be all kinds of examples. That's one. Notice how this makes us feel like it's a great idea for kids to get paid. That takes us to our next part of the assignment. The next part of the assignment, you're going to open up the other piece, and it's going to have you write a body paragraph. So when we look at this topic sentence, notice how it's the purple goal. And that means that when it's a purple goal, it means we're restating and answering the question. So the question is, which article makes the best argument? This question is not asking which side are you on. So it's not asking us, do we feel like kids should get paid to do chores or do we feel like kids should not get paid? This is asking us, which of these two arguments is the most persuasive? And there's two ways to do this. One way would be to look through both arguments and see which one uses more ethos, logos, or pathos. The other way would be to look through these arguments and see who uses the strongest argument. So who uses the most convincing pathos, or the most convincing ethos, or the most convincing logos. Once you get that, first thing we're going to do is we're going to restate and answer the question. So we're restating this. We're going to put the article that makes the best argument is. And what I do next is I could either use the author or the title of the article. Now the problem with using the author in this case, and this is a very special case, is the author of this article is Megan. The author of this article is Mom, because there's a mother-daughter writing to each other. So in this case, I think it'd be better to use the title. And I'm going to go with Mom's side just because she has some really good pathos arguments, so it'll give us a good time to practice looking for those as we write this. So I'm going to put, the article makes the best argument is, it's not about the money. So the next thing I need to do is I need to figure out, you go back to an article and find the best or the strongest argument that I think Mom makes. So when I'm reading through this, the one that really stands out to me that I really like is this part. And remember, I'm paraphrasing most of the time, so I don't have to write this whole thing. I'm going to condense it down to my own words. So the first thing I need to do is, before I paraphrase or anything, I need to give credit to our article, and that's our green belt. So I'm going to write, according to, it's not about the money. So when I look at it and think about how I can paraphrase, I'm going to say something like, if parents pay kids to do chores, they might not do important chores, such as take care of the dog. So since it's paraphrased, this is an orange goal. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain, and this is where this type of paper takes on a little bit different role than what we're used to, because now our explanation is trying to explain how this text evidence is very persuasive and how it's really good and how it makes this article the best out of the two. So this is where we apply our ethos, logos, and pathos. When I look at this argument, I know in my mind that this is pathos, makes us feel a certain way. So we're going to explain to our people that are reading this why this is pathos. So I'm going to put something like, this is a good argument because it makes readers feel sad and worried. We can infer that if the dog is not taken care of, really bad things can happen to it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this process. But another piece of text evidence that I think is a really, really good argument. Out of the arguments, this is another really good argument, I think. And again, I'm going to paraphrase this. So the first thing that I need to do is give credit to the text. So the next thing I would do is I'm going to paraphrase this and put something like, parents don't get paid to do chores. And if they did, they would be rich. Okay, and again, my explanation needs to prove how this is a great argument. And this is another pathos argument, so I'm trying to think about how does this make me feel, and then I can apply it to other readers, because if I feel a certain way, chances are a lot of the other readers are going to feel a certain way. So we're going to put something like, this argument is persuasive because it makes readers empathize with parents. So when you empathize with somebody, you realize how they feel, because they do a lot of work to keep the house functioning. Next thing I would do is I'd turn this into one body paragraph, and that would be it.